Howdy, 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 and welcome to another episode of the Dirt Info podcast. Let's go ahead and jump into our very first segment.
It's called Stylin and Profile.
And Carter, let's have you take it away.
All right. So I got a kind of hard to see, but a Mod National shirt from Ogilvie last year, I believe. Yeah, last year.
Yeah.
Or it was just from Gondiglaw.
Could have been.
No, it's from
But
Ogilvie.
isn't
Okay.
that
I
isn't that
got
a show that you came out to
it's from
Ogilvie
yep,
for?
it's from Ogilvie.
Yeah,
Yep. I
yeah.
couldn't remember because there's the other race at Gondiglaw. I was getting confused. But yes, this is from Ogilvie and it fits because we'll talk about it later, but that's where we're both going to be. So figured it fit this episode pretty well.
Heck yeah. Right on. Well, I'm gonna do a first for us. I'm gonna do my hat. I rarely mention my hats. I usually just wear them, and and some people notice and some don't. But I'm gonna do this one. So this is a hat from Alex Williamson, and it says Fast Willie, and then it says tickle in the top and sliding in the bottom. So it's a little tongue in cheek. I saw it and I had to jump right on it. At least some part because my nickname in high school was, well, my nickname even with some of my buddies from high school still is Big Willie. So I like, I could identify with it. I wasn't fast. I was more, large and well, and still am. Who am I fooling? but but anyway, I dig it. And also Alex got an invite to the dome. So another round of dome invites went out, I think just yesterday, and he
Mhm.
was on it. He was the first on the list. So I think we might see the podcast at the dome. I think. So just a little bit of a teaser for now. But so that's kind of cool. So I wanted to support Alex and he's actually gonna be at Ogilvie as well too.
Oh, I
So
did see that actually earlier today.
yeah, we're gonna have to swing by and chat with him, I think, is what we're gonna have to do. So anyway, but with that, let's go ahead and jump into our next segment, which is what we did or where we went racing, and only one of us went racing, and that was you, Carter. So where all did you go, bud?
Yeah, so I went to 141 Saturday, like we talked about, Friday, sorry, like we talked about last week. I think they had 140, 140-ish cars. Racing was solid. Nothing really too crazy stood out. Another night at 141. Racing was good, and we were done before 10, so worked out.
Fishing
But
night.
yeah. But then Saturday, I was gonna go to Lafayette County, but at 141, me and Ryan had a change of plans. We were talking, and we saw that Hawkeye Downs had 38 late models pre-registered, and so we were like, screw it, not there's gonna be like a rare chance to get to this track 'cause it's Hawkeye Downs with dirt on it. And it's usually an asphalt track, and so this might never happen again after this year. So and next I can't go next weekend because I have one more race next weekend. So yeah, we just said screw it, we'll go there. And 5 hours later, we got there, and the racing there was actually surprisingly well for a track that just got dirt put on it like a month ago. And they put it on the quarter mile there. I think the other track's a half mile, but the infield track's a quarter mile. The only issue with it is the walls are probably a little bit too short for the track, because I know there's been multiple occasions where a car has went over and a stock car like skateboard grinded it and went over when we were there. Um, so yeah, it's maybe a little too short on the walls, but the racing's still good. Stock car feature was really good. Dallin Murdy ended up winning that. And then I thought for sure Murdy was going to win the late model feature because he started on the pole, but unfortunately it did rubber for the late model feature, and Murdy tried to go around a lap car on the top, and then they just kind of swooped right by on the bottom,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
I think he dropped to like fifth, maybe around there. But yeah, so but it's the racing. Yeah, I would go back if it was around again next year and I'm free. Because yeah, it was really good racing. So and
All
oh, I
right.
want to mention too, they had this vintage series called the American Iron Man Racing Series or something like that. I don't remember, but it's like old stock car kind of things, and they had 27 of them, and they started all 27 on a quarter mile, which was kind of crazy to me. Everyone else had B mains, even other classes with like 27, 26 cars, but they just said, screw it, we're starting all these guys. And I think they had one caution, so they've worked out and they actually raced. I've seen vintage series where it's just they're kind of pacing around, but they were racing. They were trying to win.
Right on. Did the so never mind. I had a question and I forgot it, so we're just gonna move right past it. But it had to do with the vintage cars. But I remember. So anyway, moving on, like I said, four different times. Well, I didn't go racing, so I actually I feel like I I I doubled as a chef this weekend. So I smoked a bunch of meats. I prepared for a part. Like we have a Halloween party coming up in 2 weeks, but because the varsity team that Xavier's part of uh, has done so well, we have a game the day of our party now. So like we had to prepare meats 2 weeks in advance. So we're just being productive adults. It was a very busy adult weekend is what I did. But I did catch a little bit of racing. Um on Saturday night when I was hanging out by the smoker, most everything was done and I finally had a chance to just kind of like breathe for a minute and I wanted to watch some racing. I turned on Arms. And so I turned on the Arms series down at I believe they were at Route 66. And I turned it on just in time for the B main, and Tanner Mullins was starting shotgun on a B main. So dead last B main. Proceeds to go in 15 laps and about 15 cautions, went to the lead and just drove away by like half a track. Um, I will say that I want to lobby for Trenton Berry to do more announcing because he had me kind of cracking up. And during this particular B main where we were, I think it was 15 laps, 15 cautions or something like that. He made the quip. He's like, this off season, I'm going to talk to management, and the one thing I'm lobbying for, longer B mains. Which, I mean, I know it was tongue in cheek, but yeah, we could maybe not do 15 lappers. That felt a little excessive. But anyway, so Mullen, so he started dead last in the B main, wins it, which starts him, I think, like 13th or something in the, or maybe 16th or
Yeah,
whatever
probably maybe
in the
like
A feature.
15, 16 fight, I guess.
Yep. And about halfway through that feature, he was in second place. And so it was pretty cool. He actually so to conclude that the car did give out on one of the restarts because we ended up getting to a bit of a restart pandemic in the feature as well. But on one of the restarts, his car gave out. He had a mechanical issue and did retire. So he ended up finishing towards the back. But it was cool to watch him move all the way forward. And he had won the night before too. So like it was kind of cool to watch him just like he was definitely one of the fastest cars. So anyway, bearing the lead, Reece Solander picked up his first USRA win. So that was his first win in USRA competition.
Really?
And
I thought he would have,
yeah,
because he's been fast
in
with like,
mod,
yeah,
but
yeah.
yeah,
I
yep,
hasn't he had like some really good runs with USMTS and stuff? I just assumed he
yeah.
would have won like a weekly USRA show or something.
You would have thought, but I mean, I think he was in a B mod a lot until he just kind of went into the mod and then almost like immediately started running like USMTS and stuff
No, just
in an
jumped
A
right
mod.
into
It
it.
it feels kind of a bit like that, to be completely truthful with you. Because I remember 2 years ago he was down at like Votto dominating in the X mods and picking up a bunch of wins and
I feel
stuff.
like now that you said that, I do remember him being in an
Yeah.
X mod. Now that you mentioned that.
Yeah, so like, and I think for a couple of years he was down there doing really, really good in those X mods, and then just all of a sudden he started racing for Hodges Brothers, and now this year he's running USMTS. He is a rookie with them. That doesn't mean he's a rookie in a mod, but anyway, to your point that you were saying before, though, yeah, he's running up front. I think we talked about it. He and Jim Chisholm had something at Lucas Oil where Chisholm was able to use the video board to pass him,
Oh,
and
we may have talked about that. Did he?
yeah,
Was it him that almost won at Deer Creek on Saturday? Or was that someone else? There was like a
uh,
last lap
uh,
pass, wasn't it?
I think so. Yeah, yep.
So there's another one
Yep.
too where he
Yep.
was
And
so close.
he led at when I was at Princeton, he led almost the whole thing there too.
So he's
Uh,
close. He got his
Even
first USRA win. Now it's USMTS, which hopefully this we see it a lot where a guy will get their first win, even though it's not USMTS. But then after that, they'll start picking up wins. I feel like we kind of saw it with Alberson, and a few other guys. But yeah, as soon as they get
Yeah.
their first one, they kind of figure it out.
Yeah, it's kind of like a confidence booster, right?
Yeah.
Like you prove to yourself you can do it, especially for a guy who's been that close so many times. Like, I know he's a race car driver and a dang good one, right? But like sometimes you just need to prove to yourself that you can do it again. Like all those screw ups were just learning experiences, not indicative that you can't win, you know. And now you get the dub again, and all of a sudden your confidence is through the roof, and you start reeling them off. So yeah, I'll be interested. USMT has finished out the season in a couple weeks here, and well, I mean, heck, we might see him with Heartland here as well this coming weekend, which we'll
Oh yeah.
touch on. But yeah, but yeah, it'll be cool to see. Good point, Carter. I appreciate you you bringing the perspective there. So so that's the main thing I watched. I know you didn't catch any of it, but that's what happened. And then I did catch just a tiny bit. The Outlaws were at Boothill for 10,000 and 50,000 on Saturday. McCready won Friday, right?
Yep.
Yep. And then Gustin won on
Saturday.
Saturday. And I'm pretty sure he led every lap, but it wasn't that easy. He led going away for probably like a good 2/3 of the race, and Bobby was kind of playing bumper cars through the field and made his way to second. And then there was, I believe, if I'm recalling right, but it was either a late restart or Bobby just made his way to Gustin. But either way, with a few laps to go, they absolutely threw down for the win, and Gustin held on. It was a very solid race.
Oh,
Um,
another reason why Boot Hill is a place I want to go to then.
Yeah, yeah, and I caught the highlights from Friday, and that looked like a really cool race. The highlights featured Cade Dillard a lot. He was moving forward and back and forward through the field. He went like from sixth to second, and then second to sixth throughout the highlight reel. But he was throwing down all kinds of the cool laps and stuff. So it really showed kind of how cool the track can race, and he knows it about as good as any of
Yeah,
those
so
guys.
he
That's
was
kind of
pretty
yeah,
local to him.
yeah. So
I did see that this race is happening again next year too. They announced already,
oh, cool.
50,000 again. Just I don't know. I think it's the same dates, but can't remember for sure. But I know it's gonna be back next year.
Right on, right on. No, I was also going to mention. So I'm pretty sure that Gustin is still in the Gressel throwback car. So maybe we're getting to be good look again. You told the story about owning a shirt, and here he is reeling off a couple of big wins. I don't know, but it was cool to see him win again in that. And another big payday. He's not won a ton this year, but he's won some big shows. He won the USA Nationals. Now he won this 50K. I think last weekend was a pretty big payday too. So
Did he win Saturday last weekend? Or
yeah, last Saturday.
oh yeah, it was not like 20. Did he win that? No, he didn't win that.
Wait, no, no,
It
no.
was
He won
remember
in the
because it was
mod.
it
He
was
won in the
McCready and
mod.
Herb that
Yeah.
won last
Yep,
weekend.
yep,
Yep.
yep, yep. You're right, you're right. He won in a mod though. No, but no, so this one and then USA National. So the few
Still
wins he has,
two
that's
two
100. Yeah.
50K wins there.
Well, USA Nationals was 100.
Oh, that's right. It was 100. It's, they moved
Yeah.
it up. Yeah, so
Yeah,
150
yeah.
grand. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So I guess if you're gonna only pick up a few, make sure they're the big dollar ones. But so that was kind of cool. Um but yeah, and then I think we had mentioned we were following some of the WISSOTA national point stuff. Did you catch anything that happened? Did you see what happened with the
That
mods?
is probably what I paid to attention the most on like my race pass Saturday was where Blake Adams was for the mods and where Joey Jensen and Tyler Vernon were in the Midwest mods. And I believe they were all at Hibbing Saturday, if I remember right. Because Jensen won at Hibbing, Blake Adams won, right? He won in the mod and won
No,
the
he didn't
championship.
win. I don't think he won in the mod.
Did
I
he
don't
not?
think he
I know he
did.
won the
I don't.
championship for sure.
All right. Well, he did win the
Yes,
championship.
he did
He
win
did
that
indeed
because I
win the
know Sabraski
championship.
took like third or something in 94, I-94, and I think he basically
Yep.
needed a win.
Okay. Yeah. I can go
He
look
took
real
second
quick.
at Hibbing, Blake Adams did.
There it
But
is. Yep.
that's,
Perfect.
I think, yeah, that's good enough for him. He still won the
Yeah, that was good
points.
enough. I mean, he still won the points, and I think didn't you? I think you were the one who told me he won his heat on Friday at I-94 too. So like
Uh,
he was locked in that feature as well.
yeah,
I did
or
see
no,
he
he won
did
his
not start
Midwest
the
mod. So
feature.
he won his Midwest mod heat. He took third in the mod heat, but I think he was still locked in at
I think
I-94. He was
so.
still locked in
Yeah.
the feature. But yeah, he said screw it. And I honestly think that either Jensen or him or Vernon, one of them three were, or maybe all of them, were going to try to do both there and I-94. Um, because I-94 was supposed to start at like 5 o'clock, but then I think it might have supposed to rain maybe or something. They moved it up to like two
They
or
moved it
three. I
up to
think
like,
3 o'clock.
yep.
And Hibbing they scheduled start time was 2. So if they stayed at 5 o'clock, there's a chance they could have made it, especially the Midwest mod guys, because I know that was a later feature. I think they were like seventh or sixth in the running order. So there's a chance I think they could have made it over there. But then with them moving the start time up, that did not happen.
Yeah. Didn't you say something about a plane?
Yeah, I saw
Didn't
it
you hear
on
some
it was
rumor?
on the 2020 page, something about there was supposed to be a plane leaving from somewhere near Hibbing and going to I-94. Someone posted
Hmm.
about. I don't know how true it is, but if it's true, that's very, very interesting. I don't know. I kind of like that. It's
I
like
did
when
say
Larson
that.
goes from like a NASCAR race to like the Knoxville Nationals, but it's just for WISSOTA National points. They're doing all they can to win them.
All they can. Could you imagine though? Races at Hibbing and gets done and jumps in a plane. And I mean, it was probably one of those three that you mentioned, Adams
Yeah, I'd
or
assume.
Vernon or Jensen. Yep. Or maybe all three. They were all
All
in it
rode together.
together. Yeah. And then fly over. That'd be a story, man. That that would.
Honestly, I don't know a ton of like national championship stories, but that's got to be top three for like craziest things to win points or something. If someone got a whole plane to bring them to the other track running,
Right? And then like, where's the car? Who's just a backup car? Some of a
that's
buddy's
my
car or
guess. They probably
something?
because
Yeah.
I can't remember if Vernon did, but I know Jensen and Adams were both at I-94 the night before. So if they have a backup car, they probably just left it there. And
Left
if
it there.
not, then it's probably just driving someone else's car. Although it's got to suck if you didn't end up going, now you have to drive all the way back, pick up your backup car, if that is the case.
Yeah. Long trek for nothing. Yeah. Oh, interesting. Interesting. Well, maybe next year we'll have another story like that and maybe someone will actually get in the plane. I don't know. But but that was pretty cool. So if we didn't mention it, I'm pretty sure we did. But Adams won the mod national championship for WISSOTA. You definitely said that. But then Tyler Vernon was the Midwest mod
Yeah.
national champion as well too. So um, I liked his car. I saw his car very, very early in the season. I don't think it's hand painted, but it's like old school kind of looks hand painted. And like the nose is white and then it's like blue with yellow and like orange numbers and stuff. It's just a gorgeous car. So like part of me is happy he won because I thought this whole season his car was just like one of the prettiest cars in the pits. And so I like when a really good looking car is also the national
I
champion.
I
So
was rooting him for him just because I don't know. In my mind, I don't know if he is, but I believe he was kind of like the underdog in this versus like Joey Jensen. I have nothing against Joey Jensen. I just always root for the underdog.
yeah,
If I don't have any care about either of them, it's just underdog. I want to win every time. So
yeah, yeah. And admittedly, I don't know a ton about Tyler Vernon, but I know that Joey Jensen's been around the block for a
yeah,
while, you know.
That-
And
that's
so,
kind of why I assumed Vernon's probably the underdog in this situation, the one
yeah,
less likely to win it. But I think he did have the points lead going into the weekend, though.
I
He
believe he
must have
did. Yeah,
because Jensen won and he still didn't win it. So Vernon must have had the points lead.
yeah, yeah. So, but that's pretty cool. I not all of them came down to the end, but the two that did were pretty close and kind of made for an interesting weekend. So I guess
I'd
that's
say two is pretty good for like a whole year points battle to have two of them out of I don't know
heck yeah,
7 or 8 divisions they got come down to the last race. I think that's a pretty good ratio.
heck yeah, it is. Um, I guess I didn't see who won the late models, but
Oh,
uh,
I know and I can't remember now. Is it
is it
TPO?
Tyler Peter? I was
I'm
gonna say
pretty
I think
sure.
it's TPO. I
And I know
think yeah, I
Sabraski
do
won
believe.
super stocks.
Yeah. Oh dang, did he?
Yeah.
All right. Because that was kind of close too, but I think Myers had
Kurt
was
Myers,
done
he
after.
hasn't really
Yeah,
ran since like after the 100. So
yeah, I
it
think that was the last
kind of got
race.
handed to Sabraski at that point.
Yeah. Yeah. uh, But right on, right on. Well, until next year, those are. I mean, we've kind of been on a bit of a theme. Like it's almost impossible to track with soda points at any real juncture till the very end. So it's not like we're gonna make a habit of this, but it's cool. We're coming to the end of the season, and these are sort of the storylines that are out there. So it's cool to watch. But anyway, I think that leads into what we're doing this weekend, and we're both going to the same place. So why don't you tell us where we're going?
Well, I mentioned it earlier when I spoke my shirt, but we're going to Ogilvie for the Topless Nats. I'm going there to work. You're going there to watch.
To
Um,
hang out, yeah.
and I've been there obviously once before, but I've never been to this race. And this race always seemed cool to me because they do like a whole bunch for it. They paint the whole walls pink. Every car except for the Hornets and Crown Vics are topless, like every single
Mm.
division. So, yeah, and then the coolest thing to me is all the cars with like Halloween decorations strapped to them. Like there's like a skeleton just
Yeah.
hanging on to the roll cage and stuff.
Yep, yep. And lights, all kinds of different lights and stuff. And yeah. And I mean, our it's pink everywhere, and our logo is partially pink, so obviously I like the colors. So it kind of has that vibe too. But yeah, and it's in support of a good cause. They raise money for Susan G. Komen through the whole thing too. So it's just really cool event. You kind of took all the words out of my mouth of all the like reasons. I was like gonna get all tuned up to like get into it, and then you just nailed all the points. But yeah, it is for me probably my favorite race to go to every year. And I think it is just there's a little bit different vibe because point season is finally over and it is open sanction. So not that we get a ton of travelers, but we do get a few. Like we'd mentioned Alex Williamson's going to be there. He's primarily USRA and
I
I think he's
know.
gonna
Oh,
I
go
think he's
ahead.
bringing both cars. I was gonna say he's bringing both cars too. I think
Oh,
he's bringing in the B mod and the mod.
I was
But
gonna say too. I know a few IMCA guys will come because it's just like open rules pretty much for some of that. So so I know a stock cars have ran with the street stocks before and stuff like that. So that'll be cool.
yeah. Yeah, Tim Johnson usually runs more of a IMCA stock car, but he comes down for this, and I think he won last year. So yeah, there's
MCA on
definitely
top.
some. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Um, so yeah, it's just a really cool event, and the vibe is just a little bit more like a party chill vibe the whole time. Like we'll probably walk the pits, depending on. I think you had mentioned weather may play a factor, so we'll we're far enough out we don't know for sure. But
Yeah,
if
it's
I get it, yeah,
only Monday.
it's only Monday, but if we get to do a pit walk, like it's cool because they actually did. So I saw that instead of doing just the car contest, they're doing a pit decoration contest.
Oh,
So
so
like
like the
walking,
trailer and stuff too.
yep,
It's
yep.
everything.
Yeah, so I think the pit walk will be pretty cool to see all of that. And then they do the trunk or treat or the trick or treating throughout the pits too, for a hot minute. That was cool. I have teenage boys and we were walking through there last year, and they were like, my boys were playing it too cool, like they're too cool for to get candy now, but people are like throwing candy at them, like, please just take some. We've got so much. And so like you're not gonna leave empty-handed. Even the adults get in on the action. They're like, you can take some. Yeah, I'm obviously not turning down free chocolate. Like, let's be real. So, but anyway, yeah, it's a cool event. And then I do like I'll warn you, they do the parade. They do the parade for the Kier, so you're gonna get as I'm fond of saying, pomp and circumstance. So you're gonna get a parade. You're probably gonna get a little bit of fireworks, but it is a cool event, and the vibe is one that I really just enjoy. It is very much more of like it's more of like a celebration of a season, right? Because we're all kind of going home after this for the most part. This is my last show. It's Ogilvie's last show. It's most everybody's last show up in this way. Not yours. I know. I'm saying most everybody's, right?
As
So
long as they're done by 7 a.m. so I can be back for the Vikings game. That's my one request.
we should be done by 7 a.m. I
6:30.
think like
I think we'll be done by 6:30 probably.
I don't want to say we'll be done on Saturday, but I think we'll be.
Oh, I wasn't planning on that, trust me.
Yep. So actually, funny story about Joey Jensen. So my memory's a little foggy on this one, but I did go with the boys way back in like I think it was like 17 or 18, and we got there kind of early. And they do so what they do for the redraw is they have bras because it's the Topless
Oh, yeah.
Nationals, of course. So they have bras and you draw. And so the mods were doing it, and Joey Jensen. I didn't know it was Joey Jensen. I've like put this memory together in reverse, but it was the V2 mod. So who drives the V2 mod? The red V2 mod is Joey Jensen. So I've worked backwards from that. But so he was drawing first, and he asked Colton, my little luck box of a younger son, if he wanted to draw for him, and Colton's like, sure. And the boys' mom kind of asked Joey, she's like, so what number do you want? And he's like, I'll take a 1 or a 4. And Colton walks over there and he pulls the 4. Now, granted, he didn't grab the pull, which would have been way cooler, but he was given 2 out of like 12 to grab, and
Yeah,
he
and you got
grabbed.
got one of the two.
Yeah, yeah. And so I watched hard. Unfortunately, Joey couldn't make it work from that outside second row starting spot, but that is kind of a cool memory too. So the boys will be with me as well. That's another reason I like this event. I make the boys go with me. And so and my birthday's Monday after. So like it's kind of like my birthday too. So anyway, if you haven't if you haven't figured it out, Carter, I'm very excited. I'm very excited for Saturday.
I'm
But
excited
anyway.
to freeze in the infield, most likely.
Oh, you're gonna be in the infield. Do I have to
I'm
run you hot chocolates? Can I run you hot chocolate? Like I don't trust myself to walk on a track. I will eat shit in front of everybody, but I'll meet you at the gate.
I'm guessing I'll be infield. Yeah, infield's I like infields most of the time.
Yeah, yeah. This one you can see most of the whole track. So I know
Yeah,
some
that is a
other
plus.
infields you've
Yeah,
yeah,
it's hard
yeah,
to see the whole track. Yeah, so I can actually
yeah.
watch, kind of see what's going on in the. I won't know what just happened in one corner. I'll know what happened in both.
Yeah, that's always nice. Right on. So where would you be? Like, do you? I've always wondered this. Do you just get stationed in a corner and that's boom, you're infield, you're in that set of corners the whole night, or do you move around
Nope,
occasionally,
it's
or are
like
there
the
two
the
cameras?
same corner. So It it's usually I only time I move is for like interviews or if there's a big wreck. And if I'm in 3 and 4 and there's a big wreck in 1 and 2 and it's gonna clearly take a while, I'll walk over there with the camera. But usually it's just stay in 3 and 4 the whole time.
Okay.
I think
And three and four because that's where the finish line and all
yeah,
that is. And yeah, okay.
you might get a
Yeah.
slider or something like that. And then at Gondik it was 1 and 2, but I think that was for like the wireless connection from the camera to the stream because obviously we're not going to run a cord all the way from the stands into the infield. And
Yeah,
I think we're just closer to the thing in 1 and 2 versus all the way over there in 3 and 4 at Gondik. But
that would make
I
sense.
might be 1 and 2 at Ogilvie. I think the camera is actually closer to 1 and 2. I'm not really sure. I'll find out when I get there. It doesn't really matter to me.
Yeah, right on. I found that the behind the scenes stuff kind of interesting. Um, I'm sure we'll see Chopped Liver John there, so that'll
Yep,
be fun too.
he'll be in
Yep,
there.
yep, yep. Do you have like a fanny pack or anything for your snacks? Like do you
I
just
just
rely on
bring a
concessions or do you
I'll just bring like a plastic bag and put it. I'll find like a barrier to put it by, or just put it next to me. That's usually how I do it.
right on? Cool,
Actually, I
cool.
think at when I did infield at I-94, I didn't eat anything once I got down there, so I just kind of survived.
And those were long days, weren't they?
Yeah, but it was only 1 day that I was down there.
Okay,
So, well,
that's
and
true.
technically
That's
there was
true.
the one long break, obviously, for the accident that happened. That was like, so I ate during that, but then from after that on, I was down there the whole night and I didn't eat anything. I bring water though. I get
Yep.
thirsty down there.
Okay, yeah. Yeah, you don't want to get parched. That's never good. And carrying all the equipment, if you get too parched, you'll cramp, and then that would be terrible camera work. So anyway. with that. So we'll probably be mostly paying attention to that racing, but I do suspect another reason I really like Ogilvie, you can watch other racing. You might not be able to, but I can watch other racing on
I
my
love some
phone
intermissions.
if there's some downtime. So I'll definitely be keeping track or keep an eye on the Dirt Track World Championships at Eldora. So that's going to be the Lucas season finale, basically. And we talked about it a couple weeks ago, but the points are kind of like a winner take all. I think Moran leads RTJ by 15.
15. Yeah, it's basically
Yeah,
winner takes all at this point.
yeah. So that show, I'm a little bummed. It's probably always been this way, and I just kind of forgot. But it's like a WISSOTA season ending special. They qualify in heats on one day and B mains and the feature on the other. So
Yep, that's
uh
yeah, that's what they've been doing. I think pretty much as long as I can remember, at least. That's kind of how they
yeah,
always done it.
right on.
I
They
think
do have
oh, go ahead.
but no. I
I
was
was
gonna change the
it
subject, but
probably
so
it
you
probably
go.
it probably stresses out the guys that are like Miranda and RTJ, like, oh no, I took second. You have a whole day pretty much. Like you ran once, okay, I had to go to my heat. Now you're just like, oh, I got to start here. He starts here. I don't know. I feel like I'd
Yeah.
overthink it so much going
Yeah.
into it.
A whole 24 hours to be like, how am I gonna gain two spots? Because they're both most likely gonna be towards the front anyway. It's overthinking every change, over analyzing the
Exactly.
track
That's what it
the
is. It's
whole
like
time.
setup
Yeah.
changes. It's like I
Yeah.
could have been a little faster in my 8 lap heat race or whatever, probably a little longer, but when they change something and you just mess it all up.
hmm Or you're like just hecka fast, and if the show was like going super quick, you wouldn't touch anything. But then, you got to watch them mess with the track the whole freaking time until you get around to your feature. So every little change, you're like, am I still good? Am I still good? Yeah, I see what you're saying. Uh, but that should be pretty interesting. And it's 100 lappers, and this has been a war of attrition more than once this race. I don't know. October at Eldora and rain are, they're rolling some dice there, I think, just kind of naturally, but we'll see what happens. I don't know what the forecast looks like,
I don't
but
know either.
I feel like it's been wet a lot.
I was a fan of it 2 years ago when it got postponed to Sunday because I could watch it. So I
Yeah.
personally would not be upset if that happened because that was the year Hudson won it and Moran was
Oh,
like
that's
right
right.
there
Yeah.
and Shepard won
Yeah.
the race. Hudson took second because Shepard was running out of
Yeah.
gas at the line
Ran out
too.
of gas. Yeah.
Yeah, that
Yeah.
was that was the most. I was so into that race, like watching it. Like it felt like I was there. I was that into it.
Yeah, that was one of those "where have you been" moment, or "where were you" moments. At least for me, it was. I remember watching that. Wasn't that the same race where Carpenter took the lead for a hot minute
I
too? I'm
believe
pretty
so.
sure.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah, because like it's tough for me to get Xavier to watch racing, but he was wandering around. I'm like, Carpenter's leading, and he's like, boom, immediately watching it. So,
because yeah,
yeah, that was.
it was super rough from rain that weekend. There was like
Yeah,
a bunch of
yeah,
really bad wrecks, and then they just ran it Sunday. So yeah, I'll always remember that it was on Sunday because I probably went to watch it if it was on a
yeah.
Saturday.
Yeah, right on. I wouldn't be there. I would have been at I
Oh
was
yeah,
at the Topless. Yeah, yeah. So that'll be something I keep an eye on. And then the other thing I'm watching at least a little bit is the Heartland Modified Tour. Their season's coming to a close. So they're at I-35 for 2 nights. And I've been talking about this a bunch, but we've got three guys battling out for the championship. Bobby Williams leads. Carter, what do we know about Bobby Williams?
he's a rookie in the
That's
mods.
yeah, he's nailed it. And then Brandon Givens is in second, only 4 points back, and then Shadron Turner is in third, and he's 25 points back. Um, and
Isn't
then this, go ahead.
is Turner a rookie too? I thought there was another guy that was
He
a
is.
rookie. Okay,
Yep,
yep.
yep. So also a rookie. Um, And so Turner's probably the one who's like the most familiar with this track. I did some digging a while back, so I just want to bring it up. But so Turner's run there a little bit separate from like series races that have happened there, and he's got a win and a second separate and apart from the series. So he might be the sleeper there. He might be the guy to kind of come from third and grab it. The last time they were there, though, Bobby Williams finished third and Brandon Givens finished second. So when 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 HMT was there. So, I think it could be a pretty solid battle. Um, we threw darts last time. You took the Cookie Monster because I went first and said I think it's going to be a rookie. So you being the contrarian you are. So we'll roll with those. But
Yep, I'll
I
stick with
am
mine.
interested. Yeah, I'm interested to see. I'm interested to see how this plays out because that is a very tight points battle. 25 is not much at all. Four is basically like winner take all over, well, all over 2 nights. So, it'd be cool. Bobby Williams is leading and still hasn't won a race on the season. So, if he does win the whole thing, it'd be neat to see him win it with maybe a walk off. I don't know. I don't know. Maybe I'm calling it. We'll get that on record in case it happens. So we'll leave her there. But so that those are the two. Really, we're winding down on a season. Like I mentioned, Ogilvie's my last race. We've got series closing out left, right, and center. Um, so there's not a ton to talk about. So with that, Carter, I am quite confident we covered everything but our next segment, which is
The one for the road, and mine is a race we probably should have talked about last week, but the I don't know what the event name was, but it was the reopening of West Virginia Motor Speedway on the quarter. Is it 3/8 or quarter mile?
I think
Not
it
a
was three
not a
eighths.
3/8 sounds right.
Three eighths.
It's
Yep.
actually no way it was a quarter mile with how long that top side
No.
was. But
Yeah.
yeah, they obviously it was I think a 5/8 or something. It was huge. It was a huge track before, and they ran it a couple years ago. And then they shut down, and now they're reopened with they shortened or they just kind of built a track in the middle of the big track. But their car count was for the reopening, they had four divisions, 240 plus, I believe, cars. And I don't know if these are. I found a post on Facebook with the numbers because I don't use my race pass, so there might have been a couple more in each division. But I had 78 late models, super late models, 72 like B mods, 58 mods, and 36 crates. Which the thing that stands out the most is 78 supers is
Eight supers is
I
insane.
don't we probably won't even see that at Eldora this weekend.
No,
78. So like I
probably
think
not.
when maybe the world gets over that, the Dream, I think, does too, and the PDC and the Dome are those like the four shows that get more than like
Probably.
78 cars? Like,
Yeah.
yeah, so it's and this was only 5,000 to win. All those other shows are way
Big
more than
money.
that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
way more, way
this is
more.
this is 5 grand, and they had 78 cars.
Yeah, I think it shows that there was definitely an appetite for that track to come back in some capacity. So, and the racing wasn't half bad either,
Yeah,
too.
it was because
Uh,
yeah, we obviously I watched the highlights for this, so I had an
Yeah,
idea of what I was talking about. But it was the racing was good. The track was there was a the bottom was it's dominant like was dominant, but like it wasn't. Like you could once you got past the guy you wanted to pass, you went to the bottom. But to pass the guy, you had to go to the top. It seemed like because that's what
yeah,
Carpenter did. Tyler
yeah.
Carpenter.
Islander, yeah, to make the pass for the lead. Yep. And then, well, unless you're Freddie Carpenter, and
Yeah,
he
except
just,
for
yeah, I
him,
mean, he went twice as far as everybody and
yeah,
still took second. He ran, looked like he ran the top most of the race, um, but yeah, it was pretty wide. It was pretty wide,
yeah.
and
That was the first thing I noticed is the top side is a long way around. It is.
yeah.
You got yeah. You're running. You're gonna use a lot more gas running the top side all race.
Yep, yep. But what I thought was interesting is like, only so much you can see in a highlight package. So I don't want to overanalyze this. But what I did find interesting is about halfway through, it looked like guys started to find ways to make that top side be really, really fast. There was like slider lines that were working and diamond lines that were working and stuff. So you could get up there and find a little grip and just go zoom in. So didn't you say that the Outlaws are going there
Yep,
next year?
they're going there next
Yep.
year. I think it's like a 50K to win, like 2 day deal, kind of like Boothill was. So I
Right
remember
on.
right. I know it's 2 days, and yeah, they're heading there. So that should be. When I first announced it, I was like indifferent towards it, but after seeing the new track, I was like, oh, this could be a pretty good race.
Yeah. Heck yeah. I think they acquitted themselves quite well.
I wonder how
And
many cars they'll get for that. I don't think they'll get 80, but I think they'll get 60 maybe. I know when Lucas was
maybe.
last there, they had less than 25 on the big track, so I'm sure they'll
Oh
get more than that.
yeah. They'll definitely do better than that for sure. for sure. So no, that's kind of a cool thing. We always see, tracks losing tracks, this track closing, that track closing. And this one, like I remember when I heard someone bought it, I was like, isn't that huge one that just eats equipment? But they had a plan, it looks like, and a very solid one because the cars showed up to support it. The facility looks ginormous, but there were a lot of people there. You
Yeah.
could tell there were a lot of
I feel
people
like
there.
too that track never had issue getting fans. Even on all the shows they had, there'd be no cars, but the hillside would be packed every time.
Okay.
And they've already had the fans and now they have the cars. So it's set up for
That's
success, I feel like.
that's awesome, right? That's just finding a market and being creative and making it work. That needed to be smaller, right? That was the
Yeah.
only thing that needed to happen, apparently. It needed to be smaller and so they did that and it looks like first attempt went well. So good for everyone involved there. Right on. But so with that, I'll do mine. So this is this is always a fun time of year. As I mentioned, things are closing out. One thing that always pops up this time and fills your timeline with some interesting and creative social media choices is the Dirty Dozen calendar by so JC Norgard hosts it or runs it. But so like that's the calendar I have on my wall is the Dirty Dozen calendar. I try to pick it up yearly. But so they redid they well, let me start it this way. You're familiar with this, right?
Yeah.
Like it's a social media contest voting everyone to try to get the front and the months and the back cover and everything. So in years past, it was kind of like a free for all. And it was just like 240 or some odd drivers, and everyone's just like, vote for me. And then you have to scroll through this insanely long list to find the people you wanted to find. And you only got so many votes and everything. So, but it's always interesting and fun, but they like spruced it up a little bit, and so I think it's kind of worth mentioning because it's going to fill my timeline for the next month. So I'm sure some of our viewers will see it too. But so they swapped it up and they turned it into like a show now, like a race show. So we've got 12 heats of 20 different drivers, and the winner, just one winner, is going to move on, and then X amount will go to a B main, and then like X amount will drop off. So then we're going to take the winners, go advance to the main, to the feature, and then we run the B mains, and then I think winners of like 4 B mains or something advance over too. And then we got it one LCQ, winner take all LCQ. And then we're down to the 20 car feature, and then it's voting for the top 13, I think. Basically the top 12 make it in. Number one is the first month, and or well, number one's at least the cover, I think,
Oh,
and then a
gotcha.
month, and then 13 is the back cover. So kind of a cool thing, like a little bit competitive. It's mostly, I think it is WISSOTA drivers only, but
I think so, yeah.
yep. So sticking with a bit of our WISSOTA theme here, but this episode, but I think it's cool. It's interesting. Interestingly enough, I'm terrible with calendars, so I will just straight up admit I had to switch it to October before we started recording. But it happened to be Dennis Zek is October, and he's one to watch. If I was going to give you anyone to watch for this contest, it's Dennis Zek. So there's your tip. But anyway, other than that, I got nothing. I enjoy this contest. So I think we should wrap it there. If you're still here, hit a like, hit a follow, or hit a subscribe if you're not, and you're still here. You're nuts. You ought to have done that a while ago. But other than that, we'll catch you next week.
See ya.